It is Mish's Movie Club. Today, me and Gavin, we just saw War Dogs. Now, I've never seen War Dogs. Gavin just brought up the movie randomly and was like, hey, we should check out War Dogs. I randomly have the movie, so we watched War Dogs, and yeah, we're here to talk about War Dogs.
It's not a lie, by the way. He did randomly just have the movie on YouTube.
Oh yeah. So, what do you think this would be recommended towards? What kind of person do you think would want to watch this movie?
I would say the tinfoil hat peeps that are always thinking the government is working against them, or like people that just don't like the government in general, they probably like it. But even outside of that, I think it's just generally a very good movie, and it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
First, we should start off with.
And we've also done arms deals too with the government. We should add, right? We're pretty.
Yeah. We
We're
got
pretty well
into
versed in
contact
this.
with David, and he gave us some tips.
So I would say this movie is recommended for. It's directed by the same guy who made the Hangover movies. You know, if you like that kind of movie, if you like The Big Short, movies like that, Vice. If you like Vice, this is like a. This will go very hand in hand with watching Vice because they are kind of about the same sort of conflict. But yeah, this is a movie about some arms dealers, and we would say watch this movie if you like funny movies about real life situations, and if you're a conspiracy theorist, yeah, you have to be all those things to watch this movie.
Now, if you're very hardcore patriotic about America and think the government can do no wrong, then you probably won't really like this movie.
Or it might challenge you, and you might see America in a different light, and you might find business opportunities as well. Let's get into spoilers. Let me try to sum up the plot. Down on his trot luck, David Packhouse, he's like selling. He's like a massage therapist.
Yeah, he's like jerking rich dudes off.
Low life. He's a massage therapist. He is trying to sell bed sheets to old people homes.
Retirement homes.
Yeah, and of course nobody cares about the old people. He's pretty much out of luck. He meets his old-time friend named Ephraim. We'll put a picture of him right here versus him in the movie. You decide if they did my man dirty.
Well, I did do a little bit of research. He looks very attractive in that picture, the bottom one right there. But in another one I saw during the time that they got caught, he was like, I think, really fat. So maybe that's why they got like a fat, like a fattish actor.
Yeah, God bless. God bless. His friend is involved with some shady stuff. Kind of questionable where he gets his money from.
It is technically connections to the government, but they look on this website, they find bids that they can put onto a contract. If that contractor decides to take their bid, they get weapons or guns or ammunition, however they can, and then they send it to them. And they just so happen to have like a really good connection, or not connection, but like contract with the U.S. government later on.
Yes, middlemen for the government working with shady weapons dealing people that the U.S. They explain it as people that the U.S. government can't really do business with. Life scenes on the up and up. I don't know how to explain this movie. Frank.
What happens is that Ephraim, he's like a narcissist. He's very manipulative. He knows how to be the guy that people want him to be, and so he's able to make these deals and connections with people, and just kind of really start making a whole bunch of money selling these weapons to the U.S. government or other embassies or other sections around the world. And he's making all this money, and he gets his buddy David into it, and his buddy David's all about it for a little bit. He's trying to get money for his potential daughter that he's gonna have, and then that gets born, and that leads to some relationship troubles because David and his girlfriend at the time just aren't about supporting the war at the time in 2008. And because of that, that makes some, he has to hide it. She thinks he's lying about stuff. And, his relationship's kind of falling apart. Them potentially being caught or being killed by people in Albania, Jordan, stuff like that. Basically, they're dealing with shady people, so they're going to be into some really sketchy situation. And eventually it gets all the way to the point where they're doing illegal shit. They get got. Well, they don't get got, but they get caught.
They almost get away with it. And one thing that sucks is they could have gone away with it if they did the right thing, which was pretty much pay a person for their work.
Yeah, if Ephraim wasn't being a greedy bastard.
Yeah. It's a cautionary tale about business with your friends.
Yep. just don't screw people over, and you probably get a better outcome in life.
Right. That's pretty much the moral of the story. Anything you can take away from this movie, don't screw people over. So, overall thoughts on the plot?
I thought it was good. It's based on a true story. Now I'm pretty sure that they,
Fabricated.
Fabricated and not embezzled.
Hollywood eyes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did all that. But as a movie and knowing that this is something that actually happened, it makes it all the more interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you can't even knock the plot if all this stuff really happened. And also, we're not really well versed. I'm not really well versed on this particular situation, so I don't know if there are any contradictions in it that would, for sure. Like at the very end, David and Ephraim are definitely on the Ephraim. Hey, I'm Mexican. Are on an elevator together, and Ephraim's telling him the story about how like he saw Scarface. He's like, "Yeah, I really miss you," and then David's like, "Bam! You don't miss me. You hate me." And he's like, "I didn't even watch Scarface last night." That kind of made me cringe. That kind of made me cringe a little bit.
It was supposed to show that Ephraim was manipulative the whole time. He didn't actually view David as a friend, even though David viewed Ephraim as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of shows how dehumanized Ephraim is. Like David even talks about how he saw a dead body in a gas station, and then Ephraim's like, "Well, yeah, you're gonna see a dead body. It's a fucking war."
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he has a point, but also it's a dead body.
Yeah, he's definitely showing some sociopathic tendencies, and that's not based. At some point, the audience already knows that he's like a sociopath, right? So when you hammer it in a little bit, that's when I think the movie might cross a little bit into cringe. When it does something like that. When movies do something like that, I'm like, yeah, but that's just a personal opinion. You might think it's different. You might be like, hey, I've met sociopaths, and they're like, really, like, you're right. I didn't really watch Ewok Village last night. Did you watch Ewok Village last night?
I have no idea what that is.
So let's talk about how the movie looked. What did you think about it?
I mean, it's not really like there were a huge amount of explosions or anything, but I mean, it looked about as good as you'd expect.
I think the colors really popped, dude.
Yeah, I think the colors look good. I think they chose like really good filters for the climates that they're in. Like, when they're in Jordan, you saw a bit more of a, I guess, orangish sepia filter.
Yeah, it's almost like colors in this movie, great. Cinematography, great. Continuity errors. You noticed one. Laughing my hoogans off, honestly.
It's the pervy side of me.
Oh yes.
It was a scene where like David and Ephraim were talking. Nothing at all had to deal with this. Like at one scene we see like this couple.
Some lovely pedestrians. We'll say that. Some lovely pedestrians.
And this woman was in a bathing suit.
She was a lovely woman in a lovely outfit.
She was well endowed below the belt. And they're walking past, and like let's say that he's David, I'm Ephraim. They're walking down that way, and the next clip they show the same couple walking by again by David, even though they just walked past Ephraim.
And the guy had like yellow shorts, so it was like it was impossible not to notice it.
You didn't notice Ephraim.
Well, yeah, but like you're in the editing room, when you're watching that over and over, there's no way they didn't. I know it's not too big of a deal, but it is pretty funny to think like, how many times did you watch that and not?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of those things where like, hopefully they just won't notice, and then they're also probably like, we don't want to reshoot the scene again. It's like, it was kind of a minor scene,
So my theory is that we don't know all the guns Ephraim had. So what if? And hear me out. What if he had a teleport? And what if that's what we don't know? What if they walked into a teleporter, walked straight back, and this happened all under David's nose?
It's one of those Halo teleporters where they walk to it and they just brings them right back to the other one.
Makes you think.
The receiver.
Makes you think. Some things that I personally thought I didn't really vibe with was like, it feels like the story had to go somewhere really fast, right? And so that first like 20 minutes, they're kind of hitting you really quickly. Like you're out here having relationship issues, and the next thing you know, your best friend's got an AK-47 and is shooting at some people. Oddly enough, we picked this movie because it was like the shortest of the 3 options.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish it had like a little more 10 minutes to just extend a little bit more scene.
I have that same issue, which is why I kind of lean towards more TV shows, toward of media or video games. You know, just because it feels like they stick on certain story segments a lot more than movies do.
Right.
And it's not because movies are bad or anything. It's just because they have to fit everything in an hour and a half to 3 hours, whereas a TV show has 12 40-minute episodes. Of video games have 8 to 60 hours. Yeah, 100 hours to get things done.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it is an issue I had, but it's one that you kind of learn to live with.
Personal grievances. What do you think about the way it sounds? What do you think about the soundtrack? We could barely hear the soundtrack. My system's a little goofy, but I thought there were some bangers in there.
Honestly, I wasn't even paying attention to the music.
Music is good.
I really enjoyed the sound quality that I did hear.
Yeah.
Everything sounded distinct. Gunshots sounded good.
Gas is free.
Ephraim's laugh was hilarious.
Ephraim has the greatest laugh of all time. It's like, this is his Joker. And oddly enough, it's made by the same guy who made the Joker, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Bradley Cooper shows up in it. Bradley Cooper does Bradley Cooper
with the pretty
things.
eyes, right?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper is like the, they're a middleman for Bradley Cooper to the U.S. government. And Bradley Cooper's character is like pretty much a gangster.
He's not exactly a gangster. Basically, he is the wild animal of the gun dealing shit business. Like he'll deal with the government the U.S. government one minute, and then he'll go deal with the Taliban, and then he'll go deal with all these other places that are against each other. And so he's kind of like that wild animal, And he's also like we're going to spoilers. He's also blacklisted in the U.S. government.
Right. And he at one point holds a gun up to David, while he's in Albania. Really crazy stuff. He may or may not have murdered one of their Albanian drivers, but hey, you didn't hear that from me. You saw that in the end of the movie. Hey, give it a number rating.
Give it a number. I would give it anywhere from like a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Like sound design was good. Story was interesting, based on a true story and all this happening. Knowing that this did happen back in 2008 and whatever time, it was interesting to kind of see and kind of get to see the I guess not necessarily the darker side of the U.S. particularly, but just to know that these things happened and how gun dealing worked during that time with the U.S. government.
I give it a C+. A movie that will make you laugh and will make you question your government.
Oh yeah, it had funny jokes.
It was a pretty funny movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It wasn't overdone like a lot of Marvel movies nowadays, where there are all these serious moments and they're throwing jokes in left and right, these stupid quips.
Yeah. Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, I'd recommend it to the majority of people. There's definitely a small subsection where I'm like, yeah, don't watch it because you're not going to enjoy it. You'll just be like, this is some bullshit, But I do think that most people would really enjoy this movie, just kind of to get based on the true story aspect, the history of it, and whatnot.
Nah, 0 out of 10. More patriotic.
Nah.
Needs to be more patriotic.
Yeah.
Don't watch this movie. Come on, Gavin.
Let's get out of here.
We're out of here.